Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Cha Cha from Lenny Melnick's Fantasy Sports Network. And I understand that JJ has a little problem talking today. So, with that, I just came on here to just, wasn't going to really do anything today, but I'm actually going through some baseball cards. And if there is a chat room, I'll address it. And we can have a little fun today in the chat room. Now, if there's not enough people in the chat room to play the game, and honestly, I'm not going to be able to do this without you guys because this is an interactive game that we will play if you guys are up to it. I basically have some baseball cards. I would ask the chat room, give you the player's name, basically, and you guys can tell me in the chat room what team they played for or what teams they played for. I was thinking of taking some obscure players out of the boxes of my baseball cards and throwing them out there to the chat room. Now, without a chat room, this don't work too good. So, JJ normally has an audience. I'd probably chase them all away. But if anybody's out there and wants to play the game, and we could do this. If not, well, there won't be a 2 o'clock show today, folks. That's pretty much it. I'm going through some of my, pretty much my 1980s baseball cards right now. And I have quite a few, star players. Like I got Mike Schmidt and Bill Buckner and George Brett and Oral Hershiser, and on and on and on. And I'm just kind of putting all my cards, some of my prized possessions over here. I'm finally going through. I didn't realize how many cards I had. And I have the plastic sheets. I don't know if anybody's familiar with collecting baseball cards, but it's quite a process. And I used to do it quite often. And now that I'm older, I have moved here like 10 years ago. Hey, how you doing, Easy Kill? Easy Kill's in the chat room. I don't start my new job, hopefully, till June 18th, Easy Kill. So until then, and hopefully the job will still be there for me, I'll start walking dogs come June 18th. So, and that's hopefully comes around. I get a couple of walks a day, a few bucks in my pocket to play a little bit of probably my DF. Probably what I'll make enough money. Honestly, I'll make if everything goes as planned, I can make enough money to pay off my my car bill every month. And that's to regular live scoring. That was the lovely wife. And back to the chat room. We don't have too much of a chat room here, so honestly, without you guys today, I was thinking this is a new kind of. I was figuring maybe we can do this. I don't know, probably more in the evenings, maybe sometimes in the morning, maybe after Lenny's show or something. Or maybe during Lenny's show, maybe to change things up. I know Lenny is trying to change things up on his show a little bit. Lenny would probably be the perfect person to do a show like this, pretty much interacting with the audience about baseball players and asking you, throwing out a name. And you guys pretty much give us what team that they play on or what teams did they play on. Might not be the most exciting thing in the world to do, but I thought I'd give it a shot. I mean, at one point, I would like to do, pretty much like to do an interactive show with just a chat room. Basically, you ask me questions, I ask you questions, going back and forth. Unfortunately, that hasn't got under the way. That was a possible podcast for the future of a show that would be done on this network. Right now, whole problem is getting people to come here and interact with the chat room, which is different than mostly what everybody else has. This isn't going to be, it's not really trivia, Easy. It's more just basically it's not a trivia contest. It's pretty much just, I'm going to give you a name of a ball player, and you just pretty much tell me what team he played on. That's pretty much it. Whoever gets it first, gets it. Lenny does in the morning when he asks you 1,000 different questions about, kind of things that he goes over. This would be a little different, probably be a little bit easier. I'm only asking you, I'm giving you the guy's name. So it's not like, if you don't know the guy, obviously, then, you don't know the player. But if you know the player, like I gave you Bill Buckner, could you tell me, if I gave you a name like Bill Buckner, pretty much what team did he play on? Something like that. Basically, obviously, he played on the Red Sox because of what happened with the Mets. But where did he originate from? How many teams did Bill Buckner play on? Yeah, and, like that. I believe Bill Buckner started with the Dodgers. I believe he did. Obviously, if I had hit Bill Buckner's card in my hand, I'd be able to tell you that. So that's pretty much how it would go. It wouldn't be much more than that. It's not brain surgery. And, so you have a little interaction with the chat room. Now, I have Bill Buckner. Actually, I have Bill Buckner's card in front of me. And I have 2 cards of Bill Buckner. And we could do this. I'm going to tell you exactly when Bill Buckner started. If I only could see. Yeah, he did start with the Dodgers. Yes, he did. And he played on quite a few teams. That's for sure. Well, I'll give you another one. It's pretty easy. This one's going to be, I'll give you one. How about Paul Molitor? Paul Molitor, he's, this one's probably, shouldn't be that hard. That should be an easy one. For easy. Paul Molitor, he's a many-time All-Star. Pretty damn good player. For many, many years. Played on a few teams. But what team did Paul Molitor originate with? Unfortunately, Mr. Easy Kill, you are incorrect. Yeah, you're correct. He started with the Brewers way back in '83. Then, obviously, eventually, he did play with the Twins. I think he won a World Series. I believe he was part of the World Series. He won a World Series, I believe, with the Twins. I don't know. Did they ever win a World Series with the Brewers? The Brewers ever win the World Series? That's a good question. How about that? Now, here's a guy that played with quite a few teams, had a good career, too. How about Jack Clark? What team did Jack Clark start with? You don't act dumb. Easy Kills tell me he acts dumb. When do you act dumb? I don't know when you act dumb. There's no such thing as acting dumb. Either you're dumb or you're not dumb. Acting dumb. Oh, you mean when you do that show on Tuesday night? No, Jack Clark, folks. No, that's incorrect, Easy Kill. You want to try again? He did play for the Cardinals, that's a fact. But that is not his original team. Unless these Topps cards, it's the Topps card that I have. And he played quite a few years for this team, too. So, I don't know. If anybody knows the original team Jack Clark played on. Now, I can't give you all day to list, that it wouldn't be fair for you to just go online and check out the guy where he played for. But let's face it, you don't need that long to figure it out. Jack Clark's original team was the San Francisco Giants, believe it or not. Now, I would have got that wrong myself. I know he played for the Yankees for a year. He had a solid year. He played for the Cardinals for sure. But I don't remember Jack Clark. I don't remember. Yeah, that's funny because he played with the Giants from 75 to at least 84. You know that? That's a long period of time. You'd think we'd know that, but I wouldn't have got that one right. Here's another guy. Now, this should be an easy one, but he's been around a long time. What team did Rod Carew originally start with? The great Rod Carew, folks. What team did Rod Carew originate with? He didn't play on a lot of teams, but this one's an easy one. No. Rod Carew, Hall of Famer, 300 hitter. It's the worst thing about looking at these baseball cards. I got to tell you, folks, it's sad because I can't read them without my glasses. I don't have my glasses around. So basically, it's hard for me to read the back of these cards. I mean, the fine print here is tough, especially when you get a guy like Rod Carew. You are correct, Easy. The Twins is the team. The card that I have in front of me is when he played with the at the time was the California Angels. Probably played with the Angels quite a long time, believe it or not. Rod Carew, it's funny, I can't even read this. It's unbelievable. But obviously he batted 300 forever. Yeah, the Twins was obviously his main team. That's pretty easy. Now, here's another easy one for you, Easy. Or anybody else that wants to play the game in the chat room. What team did Oral Hershiser originally play with? What team did Oral Hershiser first begin his career with? Now, normally JJ's here at 2 o'clock, folks. Unfortunately, today, he had to step out of his game, and he didn't make it today. So I don't know if anybody knew that or anybody got an email to that. But we are here today at Lenny Melnick's Fantasy Sports Network. We're trying to play a little game. Yep, that's right. Easy gets it again. The Dodgers, Oral Hershiser originally started his career with the Dodgers. Now, I don't remember, if I'm correct, this is an old card. So it's actually when he was with the Dodgers, very young in his picture. Now, didn't Oral Hershiser did he pitch for the Mets too? I don't know, I'm getting that he played with the Mets I don't know why. Does anybody know? Did Oral Hershiser pitch for the Mets later on in his career? No, I think it was Bert Saberhagen. I'm getting those two guys. Those names kind of go back and forth with me. Brett Saberhagen pitched originally, I think, with the Kansas City Royals, and then later on he pitched for the Mets. Would that be a correct statement? Now, anybody that wants to jump into the chat room and get involved in this game, you're more than welcome to step up to the plate. Now, here's a guy. Now, this guy's one of the all-time great players, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. What team did Nolan Ryan originally play with? What team did Nolan Ryan originally play with? Now, Nolan Ryan, as great as a pitcher as he was, you would think that he wouldn't have been traded so many times or a free agent. He played on quite a few teams. And I have a lot of cards of Nolan Ryan. Played on a lot of teams. I'm surprised he played on that many teams. But for a guy that's as great as him, you would think like nowadays, most of these pitchers, they don't I would think a great pitcher like him wouldn't have played on a lot of teams. You would never think they'd ever get traded. Yes, you're correct. It is the New York Mets. Nolan Ryan started his career with the New York Mets. He was traded in one of the worst trades of all time that the Mets or any team has ever made. He was traded, I believe, to the California Angels for Jim Fregosi and a bag of balls. Now, Jim Fregosi, by that time, he was a decent player, but he was average at best at that time. The Mets really got the worst end of that deal, obviously. And Jim Fregosi later on managed for a long time. I don't know if he was a better manager than player. He was a decent player. He had a couple of good years, but nothing outstanding. Yeah, Nolan Ryan was on the Mets when the Mets won the 69 World Series. That's correct. Easy kill gets it again. That's right. That's what happened. Now, here's another guy. Played on a lot of teams. This guy. Now, his name, I don't think a lot of people remember this guy. I'm going to give you an obscure guy. I'll give you one guy. I'll give you a guy that was a very good player, that ended up being a great player. His name, shortstop, Ozzie Smith. What team did Ozzie Smith originally play for? Now, Ozzie Smith had a long career. One of the greatest, if not the greatest, defensive shortstop at all time. Ozzie Smith actually, got to give the guy credit because he made himself into a pretty good hitter. He was not much of a hitter when he first came out. Now, if I got this correct, these cards, these cards aren't up to date. Dunrush put out cards in the late '80s, and they don't even put out his whole career. That's terrible. No wonder why Dunrush didn't make it in the long run. Topps is one of the original card makers of trading cards. They give you his whole career. They don't cut the card in half. Recent major league performance. They only got him playing for the Cardinals. That's bullshit. No. He came up with the Padres. He was on the Padres, Ozzie Smith, and he was traded to the Cardinals. I remember he got traded. It was one of the biggest trades